So we have found, and it's finally been released, JD Vance's birth time. So this is an update on JD Vance's astrology and the impact that that information has as a running mate with Donald Trump. So welcome. This is Lydia with the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. Thank you so much for watching. If this is something that is of interest to you, please subscribe, like, and follow so you don't miss a single video, because this election season is like no other. And there is so much at play. So let me just say from the beginning that what I am looking at is just the astrology. You have to, in all fairness, for me to give this information to you, if I were to be swayed by my own political opinion, that isn't fair to you and it isn't fair to the reading. And so I try my best to just stick with what I'm looking at. So one of the things I had said at the beginning of 2024 is all these people running for president: Marianne Williamson, born on the day of a dragon, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. All of these people have challenged charts, meaning that this year of the dragon is in some way aggravating aspects of their astrology to cause conflict, stress, derailment, injury, all these things, right? So JD Vance, and thank you to all of you following who told me his birth time, and I have now verified it on astro.com. I also use Astro Theme and several others in looking for birth times. So if it is 8:11 in the morning, we're going to adjust back 1 hour for daylight savings time to 7:11. Now, this is interesting, all right, because one of you said something about Putin. I didn't actually understand. Sometimes people write comments that I guess it's stream of conscious. I couldn't quite follow what they were saying. But here's the thing. Vladimir Putin, ruler of Russia, has a chart that is very similar to JD Vance's. Now, and what they both have are two dragons. Now, when you have someone who has two dragons in their chart, it leads to someone who has an inflated sense of power and leadership that can be dictator-like if they're given the container in which to wield their power. Right? So that's an interesting piece. Now, if we know anything about Donald Trump's chart, he is an yin earth person, and he has over 90% of his chart of the 5 elements in his own fire and earth. His chart is extremely hot and dry. It is not balanced at all. He has very little metal, no water, and he's also slightly weak in wood. Now, JD Vance also is an earth person, but he's yang earth. Interesting that JD Vance is like a mountain and Trump is like sand, meaning that JD Vance has the yang like this, okay? A lot of big strength. Now, he doesn't have all the fire that Trump has, but this is what it feels like to me. Like for instance, and I don't remember, I'm not looking at their charts, but if you look at Bobby Kennedy Shanahan, right? Those two people together, for instance, let's say you're hiring for your office and you want to have a really great team put together, and you're going to have a leader of that team and an assistant to that leader. Those two together are a beautiful pairing. They combine to enhance each other in a positive way. And neither of their charts that I can recall, and I certainly know that the Kennedy's chart doesn't have all of this conflict that all the other candidates that I've mentioned do. In that makes it a little bit easier for him, possibly. When you're just looking at the dynamics of relationships, J.D. Vance is a great challenge to Donald Trump. It is almost like having the enemy at your gate and maybe keeping your enemy close. After all, J.D. Vance was not a Trump lover a hot minute ago, and now he's his running mate. It's kind of an interesting thing. So when you break down the 4 pillars that we now have for J.D. Vance, we're looking at someone born in a Yang Wood Rat year, a Yin Metal Sheep month, a Yang Earth Dragon day, and a Yang Fire Dragon hour. This guy is a powerhouse, and he might look, I think his demeanor seems rather tame. I have not seen him in action, like as far as in his element of work. But this is a guy that can move and shake and make stuff happen. This is somebody that has a very strong talent for innovation, being an entrepreneur, getting ahead at any cost. He and Trump both have this, but he has it even stronger. This signature of, I will get ahead at all cost. I will cut corners, possibly cheat. I'm not saying he's a cheater. I'm just saying this is the astrology. And it's like there is this this creativity, this ingenuity, this knowledge and intellect. This is a very smart person, very talented guy. And he's, shown that he's played a lot of different roles in his young life. He's born in 1984, August 2nd. So the thing that we're looking at for this year, this is a guy who brings his faith, his support, his outside resources into his career. And this is very much about him. This is, his career is very focused on himself, just like Trump. But Trump's interesting, Trump's hour really speaks of government, and it speaks like almost like it was inevitable that he would get into politics. That is in his career. And within his career is that rebelliousness, this, and it's a tiny little core down there underneath the surface of his career. Trump is like, I'm going to shake it up. I'm going to stir the pot. I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to be the rebellion, right? And along the lines of, his career being something that could very much be focused on government and being a politician, is that he brings himself and his all of his supporters with him in his career. And he also under the surface plays different roles. And, we do that in our job. We have to you walk into an environment and you've got to adapt yourself to that environment. And that's something that he's able to do. So the pairing of these two, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, feels like this could be something that could be very collaborative because they both have that. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a power struggle. Is J.D. Vance going to be able to make himself submissive, if you will? Is he going to be able to just be quiet and follow along when he innately is a leader? And there's just so much conflict between these two astrologies, right? So the thing is that as we move forward, how is this pairing going to fare? How are they going to be able to align with each other? And that's something seriously to watch. So when we look at this, the fact that he's born on the day of a dragon and the hour of the dragon is really powerful. This is a powerful person. He is an innate leader. He is an innovator and an entrepreneur and somebody that is going to have quite a life. There is no way with a chart like this that you're going to have a quiet life. There's just no way. And do remember that he is in a luck cycle that is giving him what he needs, which is water and wood. And that water and wood is fueling his career. It talks of change, radical change in his career, and all the things wrapped around his career, his responsibilities, his family, and money coming in from outside resources. He's going to need to really watch his health because there is a lot of stress involved in here. But he's kind of nearing the end of this luck cycle that started in 2016. And where he's moving into is going to be an interesting shift for him. It's kind of interesting. This could launch him into a really powerful political career. Or I kind of was thinking of Sarah Palin. It could also be that flash in the pan. They're here 1 minute and then gone the next. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see because there is a lot of change, really dramatic change happening in J.D. Vance's career in this 10-year period of 2016 to 2026. And so, it's not a long video. I just wanted to give you this update. May the best person win, right? May we elect the best person for president. And, I would have picked somebody that would have been a little bit more submissive. I would have picked someone really smart, but definitely somebody submissive, somebody that would be willing to just be in the shadow of Trump, which is really, I think, what his chart suggests he would need. But that's not the case. So we'll see how this plays out. And it's going to be a disruptive year for J.D. Vance. For sure, with a chart like this, with a dragon year, it's a lot of disruption. Anything can happen. We know this now. I mean, my God, we've got Biden has dropped out. Kamala Harris is the presumed next person running on the Democratic ticket, or is she? Guessing yes. And Donald Trump had an assassination attempt. If you ask me, this is the way we're going to go. Right on through to the election day. Anything could happen. So, all that to be said, please keep your comments and questions as kind and positive as humanly possible, or just don't comment at all. That would be really nice too. And until next time, friends, thank you and be well.